Hey, all you cinema buffs out there, I'm Dennis Stack, and this is my trailer breakdown for Stephen King's It. So here we are, a little month over away from the new adaptation of Stephen King's It, and trailers have come out. We've got our last one, what I believe is our last one last week, the third trailer. And so I just wanted to walk through these trailers and just kind of break them down and show you what was taken from the book and what's being altered from the 1990 miniseries with Jonathan Brandis, John Ritter, of course, Tim Curry as Pennywise. So I'm going to throw a blanket spoiler alert over this whole video. If you haven't read the book or if you haven't watched the original miniseries, then I don't recommend watching this until after you've seen the movie. And I'm not going to go through these trailers, shot for shot. I'm just going to pause at some moments in them and just point out some things that I've noticed that are either different from the miniseries or different from the book itself or straight from the book and what, just something new, just something, that it's more faithful adaptation that we should expect from this director, Andreas Muschietti. So let's fire up the first trailer. All right, fans of the book and the miniseries should recognize this scene.
Thanks, Billy.
Now, guys, of course, some of you who watch the show, you may know that at the end of every video, we say there's no place like the theater. It's our motto here at Cinema Buffs, and this trailer is truly a testament to it. Of course, the first time I saw it, it was online on my phone, and yeah, it was pretty creepy. But it was only a few months later when I saw it in the theater, and that first jump scare really got me going, and just it shows the effectiveness of being in the theater. You're in the dark, biggest screen, biggest sound, and it's just, it's movies like this that really makes me want to go to the movies, and I can't wait until this movie comes out. But let's continue.
There's not like any town I've ever been in before. People die or disappear 6 times the national average. And that's just grown-ups.
Let's pause here. All right, so this is the missing child poster for Patrick Hockstetter. Now, originally, a lot of people thought that he wasn't in the miniseries, but one of Henry Bowers' goons is credited as Patrick, but you can't really tell it's him because he doesn't have the same relationship with Henry as he does in the book, and in fact, a lot of people confuse him for one of his other goons, Victor Criss. And that's what I like about what I've seen out of these trailers so far, that it appears to be a more faithful adaptation. And the original director who was on this, he wanted to kind of make it his own, alter some things, add some things, and unnecessarily change some things, like change Bill's name from Bill to Willie, and then get rid of his stutter. It's so essential to his character. I'm glad that this new director stepped in and took over. But let's continue on.
Way worse.
We all float down here.
I saw something. There was this
Clown.
Pause right here. All right, this is the, for those of you who read the book, you probably recognize this as the house from 29 Neibolt Street. A lot of the scary images and a lot of its appearances come at this house. And so, once again, this appears to be a more faithful adaptation. And we saw in the previous scene that Ben was at the library. He is the avid reader of the group. So, it's good to see that they're, trying to really bring this to the screen. Let's go.
Yeah, I saw him too.
look. It's all connected by the sewers. That's where it lives. What happened? Bill?
Now, you might remember from the original miniseries, they're looking at the pictures in the old photo album, and you know, that's when It appears to him. It seems like they kind of modernized it now that this is taking place in the 80s, whereas they're children in the 50s in the book. So it's a slideshow, and I like that sequence right there. That's some really creepy imagery, and it's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to this one. Let's go on. All right, we'll stop there. This is the house at 29 Neibolt Street again, and here's Eddie. You know, if we zoom in on this shot, and back there in the background is the leper. Now, this is the scariest part of the book for me. This freaked me out when I was reading it. I saw just this shot in the trailer. Really got me going too, and this thing looks creepy. Let's keep going. Stop there. Right now, in the book, It appears to all the children individually first, and then they all come together as a group of friends to defeat it. And in the book, you know, they have a pretty detailed description of how they see it, how it appears to them in these many forms, and it takes their biggest fears and, you know, manifests that in front of them. And with Mike, with Mike, he originally saw like this giant bird because he was attacked by a bird as an infant, so that imagery is always stuck in his mind. But I just feel like, you know, it probably would have been, you know, one, too expensive to shoot on a movie like this, have this giant CG bird. And it kind of would have took you out of the horror experience, I think, especially if they didn't pull it off perfectly. So it seems like they substituted the fire at the black spot, which was this kind of horror story of one of the occurrences when It would come out of its hibernation and attack. It's kind of cool that the director's changing some things. He said he would change some things from the book to the movie to keep fans of the book and people who have read it guessing. So it's good to see that this is one of the things I hope are many changes that, you know, just keep you guessing. Let's go on.
Bill, if you'll come with me, you'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
So that's the end of the first trailer. I want to talk about that last jump scare. I gotta admit, the first time when I saw it on my phone, I thought it looked a little silly. Like the whole creature with the wiggly movement. It's just one of those things that it never really scared me unless it's pulled off right. Now, obviously, we don't see the whole scene in this trailer, so maybe they do build up the tension correctly to where that scare is effective. So in between the first trailer that debuted in March and the one we just got last week, we got a little clip at the MTV Movie Awards. And I'm not going to go through that video too. I'm just going to say that in that clip, they really seem to nail the characters right in this. I mean, I feel like a big complaint I have with the miniseries after reading the book is that some of the characters get shortchanged. In the book, it's equally spread amongst all 7 of them in the Losers Club. Whereas in the miniseries, I feel like it was the Bill, Ben, and Beverly show. You know, they were kind of the most showcased. So it's good to see that, you know, they get all the characters right. The banter between Richie and Eddie, the kind of conservativeness of Stan, and, you know, the leadership of Bill. So go check that clip out. But we're going to go right ahead and fire up the recent trailer that we got last week.
When you're a kid, you think the universe revolves around you. You think that you'll always be protected and cared for.
We'll pause right there. I just gotta say, I love this shot. Not only does it show Eddie's arm is broken like it is in the book, so I'm sure they'll show the scene how it gets broken. And, you know, and I can't fault the original miniseries for keeping a lot of this stuff out. They were short, you know, they had time constraints, and they had, you know, probably low budget considering it was for a network miniseries. And once again, it was on a network, so they had censorship, you know, parameters. So I applaud the original miniseries. It gets all the broad strokes of the book, and I just like that this new movie seems to be a little bit more in depth. And I love that the cast has loser written on it, but there's a V painted over the S and it says lover. I think that's just an awesome shot.
Then, one day, you realize that's not true. Because when you're alone as a kid, the monsters see you as weaker. You don't even know they're getting closer. Till it's too late.
let's pause there. So this is the first glimpse we get of Pennywise's voice as he talks to Georgie from the drain. It's a little whispery, so who knows? I was kind of hoping for like a scene where he's menacing the children and you get to really hear his voice, but at the same time, I'm glad that they didn't showcase it. I don't want to know too much. I don't want a trailer to tell me everything, so I like what they've done with this marketing. They give you some, but not too much. In these trailers, they've had a lot of the same footage from the first trailer, but I like that they just pepper in some new footage with the old footage. They don't show you brand new everything. They don't show you all 3 acts at once. Let's keep going.
My grandfather thinks this town is cursed. That all the bad things that happen in this town are because of one thing. An evil thing.
Alright, let's pause right here before we get into this whole sequence. Once again, it's just like little alterations from what originally haunted these kids when it terrorized it. So let's let this play out.
Bill, if you'll come with me, you'll float too.
Georgie. I saw something.
The clown. Yeah, I saw him too.
You'll float too.
What happens when another Georgie goes missing?
Pause right there. Now that's Henry Bowers with the Switchblade. And that's something that I feel that the miniseries could have taken their time, just a little bit more time, to flesh out that it was controlling Henry Bowers from the get. They kind of show that it talks to him as the moon when he's older in the miniseries, but that happens throughout the whole novel. And I really hope that, whether it's he's talking to the moon or something else, I really hope that they really strike on that, and that, yes, Henry Bowers was a messed up kid and he was a bully, and you know, he was always going to be the jerk he was always going to grow up to be. But it drove him that much farther. It drove him to the point where he wanted to kill all the Losers Club. So it looks like they're really nailing that one on the head. So let's go.
Or one of us?
You'll float too.
Are you just gonna pretend it isn't happening like everyone else in this town? If we stick together, we'll win.
Right there. This appears to be towards the end of the book, or at least the part where they're kids, where they perform this ritual to defeat it. And once again, looks like a more faithful adaptation with a little bit of tweak. In the book, it's originally Bill, and it appears to be Beverly in this scene. And once again, I hope that's to serve to kind of spread the wealth amongst all 7 characters and really give each of them their own voice and make it about all 7 of them. Let's go. Alright, now before we start this sequence, I'm going to pause at some point during it, so I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to let the tension build for you like it should. But this is how a jump scare works. You build tension, kind of creep out. You'll notice as Richie walks by, one of the clowns in the background turns his head to watch him, and then we get our jump scare. I saw this in the theater last week before Atomic Blonde, and this part scared the crap out of me. Now, I just saw this on the internet, so I had to share it with you guys. And we're going to zoom in right there. One of the little clown dolls in this room is the original Tim Curry design from the 1990 miniseries. So it's cool that not only are they faithfully adapting the book, you know, they're paying some homage to the original miniseries and to, you know, Tim Curry's performance. So I thought that was a cool little tidbit that I found out on the internet the other day. But let's finish this one out. That's how you make a jump scare effective. Buffs. Alright guys, that's it for my trailer breakdown of Stephen King's It. I hope this video is serviceable to you. I hope you're not feeling that you've seen the, you know, original miniseries. You don't need to go see this new movie. It appears to be scarier. It's rated R, so there's probably going to be more gore. And it seems to be like truly page the screen on this one. And with some alterations to keep the novel readers guessing still. I'm going to be bringing you a series of reviews on my favorite Stephen King movies, my least favorite, and I'm also going to give one a try that I haven't watched before. So look out for those reviews in the future leading up to the new one. I mean, we're getting Dark Tower this weekend, but Nate and I are really looking forward to it coming in September. So we'll bring you that review of Dark Tower this Friday. Don't you forget, there's no place like the theater.